now from the IBA at Winchester, engineering announcements for the radio and television trade.
Welcome to this week's bulletin for the radio and television trade, direct from us here at the IBA's engineering headquarters. Today, some significant improvements to the Channel 4 transmitter schedule for 1985, new ILR transmitters for Huddersfield and Halifax, news for flyback sufferers in London and the South, and the current batch of new UHF relays, this week 3 stations at North Bovey, Winterbourne Steepleton and Linnet Valley. And there's a delay at the relay for Plumbridge.
We start today with transmitter news and some significant revisions to the published schedule for Channel 4 openings next year. It's mainly good news, with 11 stations being brought forward and only 3 actually going back, with regard to the 4 quarters of the year. The current edition of our Pocket Guide to Transmitting Stations gives the provisional opening dates for the 100 relays due to have Channel 4 in 1985. The dates are given to the nearest quarter, but we now have the latest estimates which reflect a few changes in what we published previously.
Brought forward from the 2nd quarter to the 1st quarter of 85 are Birch Vale in Derbyshire, Rothbury in Northumberland and Woburn in Buckinghamshire. 2 stations moved from the 3rd quarter to the 2nd, Whalley near Blackburn and Dalton in Cumbria. And 4 relays originally planned for the 4th quarter of next year are now due between July and September. Macclesfield and Congleton in Cheshire, Dog Hill near Shaw in Greater Manchester, and Bishop Stortford in Hertfordshire. 2 relays in Northern Ireland have been added to the 1985 list, Gorton-le-Lee and Bush Mills. These 2 should now be commissioned in the 3rd quarter of next year.
The 3 relays that have slipped a little are Cheadle in Staffordshire, now into the 2nd quarter, Ripponden in West Yorkshire, which has gone from the 2nd quarter into the 3rd, and Ickham Hill near Bourton-on-the-Water in Gloucestershire, now due in the 4th quarter of next year. The other 86 stations due for Channel 4 next year, and which we haven't just mentioned, all remain in the time slots published already. The fully updated list can be found on a set of rolling teletext pages on 390 of Oracle in all ITV regions except the Channel Islands, where the 7 transmitters now have Channel 4.
In the shorter term, 5 relays remain to have Channel 4 this year. Expected this week are Laxey on the Isle of Man, where about 1,500 people should be able to tune into Channel 54 within the next few days. Also due this week, St Bees in Cumbria. The channel here will be 54 and the station serves about 1,000 people. Due next week, Kirkcudbright on Channel 31, Isles of Scilly also on 31 and Plymouth North Road on Channel 50. In West Yorkshire, the Todmorden relay was hoped to have Channel 4 by Christmas, but it now looks like it won't be until about February.
Special announcements next, and in the north of Scotland, installation work on the new Durris aerial is almost complete. The upper half of the new aerial is now in use, and so results may have changed just recently. We only need a few hours of good weather to commission the other half, and then return to full power. This involves men working at over 1,000 feet above the ground, and we just don't know when the weather will be kind enough to allow this final job. We hope it's very soon.
In the Shetlands, Bressay is to be off the air today between 1 o'clock and 4 this afternoon for work on the main supply.
Further south in Scotland, 2 relays, Killin and Cleonaig, are due off today between 9:30 and 4 during maintenance work by the Electricity Board.
In South Wales, Rayola is also off today for mains work, this time between 9:30 and 2 this afternoon.
And in North Wales, Llanengen is due off tomorrow between 9:30 and 4, again for Electricity Board work, but this is weather dependent.
Also tomorrow, Crystal Palace Channel 4 will be off between 9 and 11 in the morning to allow essential work on the aerial feeder system.
New relays now, and southwest of Exeter, North Bovey came on air last Wednesday. The station has been designed to improved reception for about 1,200 people in North Bovey and Morton Hampstead. Programmes from TSW and TVAM make up the ITV service on Channel 43, and Channel 4 is on 50. Aerials should be Group B and mounted for vertical polarisation. North Bovey is now on the air and due in full service this Friday.
Near Dorchester in Dorset, Winterbourne Steepleton now looks set to open this week after delays last month. The station is intended for about 900 people in Winterbourne Steepleton and Winterbourne Abbas, and also in Martinstown. Regional ITV programmes will be from Television South on 45, with Channel 4 on the rather higher frequency of Channel 66. The wide spacing means that Group E or wideband aerials will be essential for optimum reception of all 4 channels. Polarisation will be vertical. Winterbourne Steepleton is due on the air later this week.
At Bury St Edmunds in Suffolk, the Linnet Valley relay is nearing completion and is also due to open this week. As many as 1,650 people are expected to benefit, along with the Linnet Valley extending eastwards as far as Stamford Bridge. Anglia Television and TVAM will be on Channel 23 and Channel 4 on 29. Aerials should be Group A types mounted with the rods vertical. The Linnet Valley relay at Bury St Edmunds is due on the air later this week.
The news is not so good for Plumbridge in County Tyrone, which has suffered a delay since last week. It's now expected later in December and hopefully in time for Christmas. Our man Jerry Stallard is visiting dealers and aerial riggers in Northern Ireland this week, particularly in the new relay areas of Draperstown, Derry-Gonolly and Lisbelaw. He'll also be in the general area of Londonderry.
Independent local radio has reached another area today, with Pennine Radio now available around the Huddersfield and Halifax area. The 2 new IBA transmitters are co-sited at Vickers Lot, with VHF stereo on 103.4 MHz using mixed polarisation and medium wave on 1530 kHz, that's 196 metres. In addition to Huddersfield and Halifax, the service area also includes Holmfirth, Kirkburton, Murfield, Brighouse and Ripponden. Between Huddersfield and Bradford, listeners may find that there's now a choice between the new transmitters and those opened for the Bradford area in 1975. Initially, programmes will be the same on all frequencies, although provision is being made next year to allow separate programming. The new transmitters bringing Pennine Radio to Huddersfield and Halifax opened this morning, although there may be interruptions during the first few days if further engineering work proves necessary.
A word now about those flyback lines which have troubled viewers with old receivers in the London and TVS South areas. We've been transmitting teletext data on more of the spare lines at the top of the television picture to see how many sets would be affected, and how badly, by a further extension of Oracle teletext. The test period is due to end after close down on the 9th of December, when all will return to normal. We've already started analysing the comments made by the trade on our reply paid cards, but there's no estimate yet of when an increase of data lines might become permanent. Most sets are easily able to cope with any increase that may occur in the future.
Our dealer visits to Crawley Court have always been popular with the trade, and we're pleased to have the chance to talk at length and face-to-face to dealers, aerial riggers and technicians. We offer an informal lecture in the morning, and then after lunch a tour of the technical areas of our engineering headquarters. We still have places available on our next planned meeting on the 15th of January, and if members of the trade are interested, they should contact Diana Cousins on Winchester 822 403. Alternatively, you can write to us at the usual address,
which is Engineering Information Service, Independent Broadcasting Authority, Crawley Court, Winchester, Hampshire, SO21 2QA. And that's also the address for any technical queries on independent television or local radio. Our engineering inquiries phone number is Winchester 822 444. And that number has an answering machine which operates outside of office hours. That's all for this week, but we'll be back next Tuesday at 9:15 and 12:15 on all Channel 4 and S4C transmitters. Do join us then. From Murray Nicholson and myself, John Lovell, goodbye from Crawley Court.